Welcome to Rise to Radiance, the channel where we explore the science behind thriving plants. Now, if you've ever cared for a plant, you know that feeling, right? That little bit of panic when you see a beautiful green leaf starting to fade, turning that sickly yellow. But what if I told you that yellow leaf isn't a sign you failed? It's actually a message. Your plant is trying to tell you exactly what's wrong. In this explainer, we are going to learn how to decode those messages. We're going to move right past the guesswork and give you a science-backed, step-by-step guide to diagnose and fix yellowing leaves for good. Okay, let's get into it. Just look at this. This isn't just some random yellow leaf. This is a detailed map of a very specific problem. You see how the veins are that deep, healthy green, but all the tissue in between is almost completely yellow? This pattern has a name. It's called interveinal chlorosis, and it's one of the most common signals we see. It's a cry for help, and by the end of this, you'll know exactly what your plant is saying.
We have all been there, running through that mental checklist. Did I water it too much? Not enough? Is the light wrong? Is it just being fussy? And look, those are all good questions, but they often just treat the symptom, not the root cause. The yellowing itself is just the outward sign of a much deeper issue. So what's really going on inside that leaf?
Okay, so the official sciencey term for this yellowing is chlorosis, and it's pretty simple. It just means the plant isn't making enough chlorophyll, the green pigment that powers photosynthesis. But here's the key thing to remember. Chlorosis isn't the disease. It's the symptom. It's a big yellow flag telling us that the plant's internal food factory has been disrupted. Our job is to play detective and figure out why.
This is where it gets really cool. Your plant is communicating with you through a very specific, very logical language. Where the yellowing shows up and the pattern it makes on the leaf, those are precise clues that point directly to the problem. And to understand this language, we only need to learn one single powerful concept.
And here it is, nutrient mobility. This is the whole shebang. It's the idea that some nutrients can be moved around by the plant after they've been used, while others get locked in place. This one distinction dictates everything, especially where you're going to see those first signs of trouble. It is the absolute master key to diagnosis.
So this one idea splits all the essential nutrients into two basic groups. You've got your mobile nutrients, like nitrogen. Think of these as the plant's emergency cash reserves. When times get tough, it can pull them out of the old, lower leaves to fuel precious new growth. That's why the symptoms show up on the bottom of the plant first. But then you have immobile nutrients, like iron. Once they're in a leaf, they are locked in. The plant can't move them. So when the plant runs out, it's the new upper leaves that starve and show symptoms. Just by looking at where the yellowing is, top or bottom, you've already cut your list of suspects in half. All right, let's put this new knowledge to work. It's time for an investigation. We're going to look at the two most common culprits behind yellow leaves, one mobile and one immobile. Think of it as a little botanical whodunit.
Our prime suspect is nitrogen. Of all the nutrients, this is the one plants demand the most of. It's a core building block of the chlorophyll molecule itself, not to mention all the proteins. And because it's highly mobile, when the plant runs low, it starts scavenging. It pulls nitrogen from the oldest, lowest leaves to send it up to the new growth. And since the plant is basically disassembling the whole leaf, the yellowing is uniform across the entire thing, veins and all.
And this illustrates it perfectly. You're looking at a diagnosis on a massive scale. See how the yellowing starts at the bottom? The lowest leaves are completely brown and withered, while the top of the plant is still trying to stay green. The deficiency is literally climbing up the plant from the bottom as it sacrifices its older leaves one by one to survive.
Okay, now for suspect number 2, the common imposter, iron. Iron is a micronutrient, so plants only need it in tiny amounts, but it is absolutely critical. It's not part of the chlorophyll, but it acts like a key worker on the factory assembly line that builds chlorophyll. And here's the twist. It is highly immobile. Once it's in a leaf, it is there for good. That means when the supply runs out, the symptoms show up first on the brand new upper leaves, and the pattern is that classic yellow between the veins look we saw earlier.
And look at this close-up. It is a textbook example. This is a young leaf right near the top of the plant. The veins look like a dark green skeleton because that tissue is still getting what it needs. But the cells in between,
They can't make any chlorophyll without that iron catalyst. This sharp, web-like pattern on new growth is the unmistakable signature of an iron problem.
So let's put them side by side because this is the money shot. This is the critical test. To diagnose your own plant, you just have to ask two simple questions. Question 1, is the problem on an old leaf down low or a new leaf up top? Question 2, is the yellowing uniform or is it between the veins? Old versus new, uniform versus veined. That's the code. You've cracked it.
But what if you've done everything right? You diagnosed the issue, you added the right stuff, and nothing changes. Well, sometimes the problem isn't that the nutrient is missing from the soil. The problem is your plant just can't get to it. We've got to talk about the hidden culprits.
And the biggest hidden culprit of them all is something called nutrient lockout. This usually happens when your soil pH is too high or too alkaline. In high pH soil, iron chemically changes into a form that's basically rust. It becomes insoluble in water. So even if there's plenty of iron in the soil, the plant's roots physically cannot absorb it. It's like your plant is starving in a pantry full of food locked in cans it can't open. This is a huge issue in places with alkaline, limestone-rich soils.
The other major culprit? Good old-fashioned overwatering. This creates what we call anaerobic, or oxygen-deprived conditions in the soil. And you have to remember, plant roots need to breathe. They need oxygen to create the energy it takes to actively pull nutrients from the soil. When the soil is waterlogged, the roots literally suffocate. They shut down, which leads to root rot and a total inability to absorb any nutrients. So those yellow leaves, they aren't a sign of a feeding problem, they're a sign of a breathing problem.
Okay, so now we get the signals, and we know about the hidden culprits. Let's pull all of this together into a clear, actionable plan that you can use on any plant, in any garden, anytime.
Here it is, your 3-step diagnostic framework. It is that simple. First, you check the location, old leaves or new leaves. That tells you mobile or immobile. Second, you check the pattern, uniform or veined. That helps you pinpoint the specific nutrient. And third, and this is so important, before you add a single thing, check the soil. Is it a soggy mess? Then it's a breathing problem. Get a simple soil test. Is the pH way off? Then you're dealing with nutrient lockout.
And here is your ultimate cheat sheet. This table connects what you see directly to what you do. So that uniform yellowing on old leaves? Bingo, that's nitrogen. Your fix is a nitrogen-rich amendment like blood meal or fish emulsion. That classic veining on new leaves? That's your iron deficiency. The best fix there is chelated iron, which stays available to the plant even in high pH soil. And notice that third row. Just to show how powerful this is, if you see that same veined pattern but on old leaves, the culprit is a different mobile nutrient, magnesium. And the classic fix for that is super simple, Epsom salts. This chart turns your diagnosis into action.
So remember, a yellow leaf isn't a sign that you're a bad plant parent. It's a sophisticated message. Your plant is telling you exactly what it needs. And now by understanding the simple secret of nutrient mobility, you know how to listen. Now that you can diagnose a key nutrient deficiency, it's time to understand the most fundamental tool for fixing it. In the next video on Rise to Radiance, we'll unlock the code on every fertilizer bag with a deep dive into NPK. You don't want to miss it.